Well, good evening, folks. Yes, it's early evening. This is Lee, your virtual airline pilot. Thanks again for joining me. Welcome to another scenery review. We're back in the Greek islands. This is the island of Chios, and this is Chios Airport in Greece. Lima Golf Hotel, India. This is a payware scenery by Inibuilds, and you're actually looking at version 1.01 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Again, no mention as to whether it's available for Xbox. I did point out to Inibuilds that there were missing lighting, runway lighting was missing for the darkness hours. It's on the charts, but it wasn't in the original release. And so they brought out version 1.01, where they've added the lights and fixed a few other bits and pieces. So I believe at the moment the sim market download is still version 1. So if you get it from Inibuilds, you'll get the update. I'll give you firstly I'll give you the download. It's 970 megs download, and it installs at 1.84 gigs. As I say, it's available from Inibuilds' own store and from Sim Market. If you get it from Inibuilds, you'll get the updated version, and I'll give you the Inibuilds price, which include tax and VAT. I've calculated it for you. If you buy it from Inibuilds store, it's £8.39, including VAT and tax, which equates to roughly $10.47 US, or €9.57. The US and Euro prices, as I say, they do include VAT and tax based on the UK one, but of course that may vary depending on the country of purchase whenever you're in. I'll put a link up to the Inibuilds store product. The reason you can see my aircraft sitting over there this time is I've just flown in here with my friend Neil. We did a flight direct from Gatwick, and this runway is really short. It's just under 5,000 feet. You can get an Airbus in here, but it takes a lot of planning, and it's a challenge. So let's give you the list of features. As I say, the features, this is version 1.01, the update. You've got handmade ground textures with detailed bespoke texture sets, true to life airport landside recreation with custom ground decals, signposts, vegetation, parking barriers and more, accurate real world decals and advertisements scattered throughout the airport to promote a true to life feeling, accurately placed lighting, especially now the runway lights have been added in the newer version, surrounding objects including shops and boats, hand-placed ground service equipment scattered throughout the airport. As you can see, it nestles on the edge of the Greek island of Chios, and in a really nice picturesque location. You could just sit down there and watch the water lapping, and it's very pleasant. It's a really lovely little airport and a really good price. Inibuilds are getting better and better. Those of you that have seen the Los Angeles airport scenery and some of their more recent products will note that their skills are getting really good, and little gems like this come out from time to time, and they're really nice if you like the Greek islands. As ever, just a very little bit of history for you. There's not a lot to research here. Chios Island National Airport, Lima Golf Hotel, India, is a public use airport on the island of Chios in Greece. It's also known as Chios Island National Airport, or Omiros, and is owned and operated by the Hellenic Civil Aviation Authority, or the HCAA. The airport's located in the region of Campos, some 1.8 miles or 3 kilometers south of the city of Chios itself. Aircraft up to the size of the Airbus 320 are able to land at this airport, and we've just done it, and I can attest that you can, but it's tight. The airport began its operations in August 1969 with an Olympic Airways flight from Athens. Currently, Chios receives daily domestic flights from Athens, Thessaloniki, Lemnos, Mytilene, Rhodes and Samos all year round. Two airlines, Olympic Air and Sky Express, operate scheduled and charter flights to the island. And Chios can also be reached by ferry from the port of Piraeus near Athens. In 2022, the airport serves some 240,000 passengers with over 5,500 aircraft movements. So this place gets pretty busy in the summer, and doesn't surprise me. It's beautiful, lovely little location. So let's talk runways. So runways then. Chios Airport operates a single runway 0119 measuring just 4,957 feet or 1,511 meters in length and is made from asphalt. The airport lies at an elevation of 15 feet or 5 meters and is in the GMT UTC plus 2 hours time zone, except in the summer when, like many European airports, Chios moves ahead 1 hour onto daylight saving time to GMT UTC plus 3 hours. Both ends of the runway feature low-level runway lighting, and you can see now as we're looking down the throat of runway 01, which is the main landing runway. If you don't see these lights surrounding the runway here, then you've got the original version that hasn't been updated. So you've got low-level runway lighting and precision approach path indicators on the runway left side. Runway 01 also has runway end identifier lighting, and you can see it here, and features both VOR and NDB approach options. There are no listed approach options for runway 19, although I believe you can use it for a takeoff. And as you can see, both ends of the runway do have turning pads, so you can turn around after landing and taxi back to the central apron. Pilots should understand that the border with Turkey lies just east of the island, and therefore you must exercise caution during landings and takeoffs so that incursions into Turkish territory are avoided, especially on go-arounds. If you're doing the go-around on 01, the go-around is a climb to 6,000 feet with a climbing right turn that takes you out over the water here, over to the VOR, so you've got to make sure you don't infringe Turkish airspace. There are SID and STAR arrival options as well for the airport. Let's have a quick look at the other end. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 19. As I said, there are no approach options here. I guess if you're going to do a landing into runway 19, it's visual mark one eyeball only. Takeoffs are no problem. As you can see, you've got this extended threshold here, just like at the other end. Again, you've got the PAPIs on the left and the edge lighting at the threshold here. And as I've said before, you should see the low intensity runway lighting here. And if you don't have this, then you've got the original version 1, and you should get the update which gives you this, so that you can have some kind of an option to land during the darkness hours. No jetways at this airport, so let's bring the daytime back up and have a little look at what we get for our money here. So as ever, let's start with an airside tour going south to north. As you can see, some of the stuff is default. They've done the road there that goes around the airport. There are some nice cars laid on top of photoreal scenery. The cars track down the road, which is nice. You've got some nice buildings here that have been added too. Bit of photoreal ground here, which doesn't really work because it's too low resolution. However, I'm not complaining. These buildings look lovely, typical Greek buildings. There you've got the runway, which is nicely textured, especially the shoulder there. You've got the flag, PAPIs on the left there. Some very nice little buildings here. And there are some little bits and pieces sort of landside by the road. We'll come back the other way in a bit and have a look at that. There you can see some bits and pieces from building work still to go. There's concrete mixers there. Appropriate signage, appropriate clutter. If I come this way a bit, there you've got a static Gulfstream jet. There you've got people standing outside the little terminal building. More cars, fire station and the fire tenders, an army helicopter there. It all looks very, very pleasant. Some very good hand-placed foliage. Here we're coming to the other end, runway 19. There's the VOR that sits there. And as you can see, some nice little work here, just the odd buildings, bits and pieces that have been added just to enhance this a little bit. So let's just tour landside a little bit now, a little bit lower down. Here you can see a petrol station with some signage just to the right there. balancing ponds, I think they are. But you can see some nice signs, some nice little bits and pieces that have been added just to give this a bit of atmosphere. Before we go any further, there's a nice little scene. You got the name of the airport in Greek, little outside terrace there and people sitting there. And they're looking back the other way. As you can see, the car models are quite decent. Helicopter in the distance there, and this is the back of the fire station. So we're inside the control tower, which is not developed as such, but it is modelled. There it is looking from the outside. It looks very pleasant. And there's a nice little view showing you this side of the terminal land side with some appropriately sitting people. Signage is really good. Everything right down to the little telephone here. So let's continue the little tour down the landside road. Some nice little features here, like this thing here. And you know, you've even got the sort of like the telephone electrical cables at the top here, which can be clearly seen. And there's the pavement to the left. The whole thing is blended very nicely into the default terrain, so it looks really quite pleasant. So as you can see, the foliage has been nicely placed, it looks good. And you've got cars coming down the road. Okay, that one disappeared, but it's on the right side of the road, which is impressive. Little signage and little bits and pieces here which make this, just give it the atmosphere it needs to have for such a nice quaint little airport. There you've got a couple of concrete mixers or containers. Here you're looking at a petrol station, very nicely detailed, right down very close, and you can still read the details, which is good. And now we're just going down a little lazy run down this road here. As you can see, some very pleasant little buildings, nice little developments. Nothing fancy, but nice enough just to give this a kind of pleasant feel about it. Some very nice little buildings. There you can see the airside fence goes all the way down to the end there as well. Completely surrounds the airport, as indeed it should. And there to the left you've got this wonderful building design here, which I think is very, very impressive. Looks really good. And again here, look off a little bit sort of off airport on the approach. You've got little bits and pieces that have been added and developed ever so slightly. So just a quick close look at the runway threshold here. You've got this wonderful texturing, especially on the shoulder, and the whole thing fits in really well. I'm pleased that they've made the corrections I asked for and added the lighting as per the charts, so this runway accurately reflects the charts as indeed it should. There are the pappies on the left side. We just passed the windsock, and as you can see, the runway texture is wonderful. It's sort of hand done. No, in no way is it a default at all. Looks great. There's our little petrol station again. Some graffiti on that building, which is a nice touch too. Let's just come out over the water's edge. It's very pleasant here. Very beautiful, just to hear the water lapping against the sort of semi-beach as it were. It's a very lovely little scenery, very pleasant, very nicely done, nicely modelled, nothing fancy, and at a very good price. It's really quite cheap. Not sure what this is. It's a water reclamation thing, or just like a water treatment centre, I think. Very nice. Another petrol station there. Again, really good clear signs, nicely textured and modelled buildings. It's all really pleasant. And as we go out over the end of runway 19 here, a little bit further, here you can see some development here. Okay, so let's turn the light down to dusk and have a look at the lighting. Okay, so I've turned it down as low as I can without it sort of going too dark. This is 10 to 6 in the evening local time. It's early April 2023. So sort of just the start of spring as it were, and here you can see the effect. If you've got the newer version 1.01, you've got the corrected added runway lighting here. But as you can see, some nice little touches, beautifully lit, very nice indeed. And they're looking in the other direction, and there's a beautiful moonlit evening there. Nice subtle lighting where it's needed. So here you can see the local sort of apron area. This is me parked here. I did notice that there are no tugs here, so you might have fun trying to push out of here. I use pushback helper from flightsim.to, which actually moves and pushes the aircraft wherever you want to push it, even if there's no tug, so that could be useful. But here you've got a nice little scene, animated flag here, parallaxing on the windows, which gives a nice effect here, quite realistic. And again on the control tower, and you've got the appropriate lights, safety lights at the right time places here, and it all looks really lovely. So going a bit closer there, you can see some people sitting outside, chap in a wheelchair here, which is unusual. I think I've only seen it in one other scenery, so kudos for that, something different. And the same place from another angle, showing two people around the back here who might get a little bit naughty out of the sight of everybody else. Sorry. So there's the building from the other side, showing the car park as well. Signs which are really nice. The car park's nicely textured too. And as I said, the car models are decent quality. Signage is good. Here's the back end of the fire station. It's all very nice and subtle. It's not overdone. Very, very good. And a close-up look. As you can see, it's really nice. It's really, really, really nice. Very, very atmospheric. So here's the fire station looking from airside, and you've got the old style fire truck in there. And a nice view showing you the inside of the fire station, where they've done some detailing and some texturing to make this place come alive a little bit more. Very, very pleasant. And here's our helicopter, which isn't lit, but very nice, no props, really good. And just giving you an idea of the ambience here on the landside street. Again, some nice lighting, some parallaxing, all a little bit subtle, which just looks very pleasant. So we just can take a little slow tour down here so you can look at the lighting and the way the buildings are done. I think it's very, very pleasant. It's very impressive. All the signs are clear. Relatively high resolution, so they look reasonably real. It just looks very nice. It's a lovely place to go driving down in your car when you can. I know there's one or two vehicles available on flightsim.to that might allow you to explore this, but all looks really pleasant. And again, all nicely lit, very nice. And just another little pan along this street for you so you can have a look. Very pleasant. So we quickly sort of head out towards the runway. As you can see, they've now got lighting, which is good. No centerline lighting on the ramp, but you should be able to find your way. So you see you've got enough lighting on the ramp to be able to see where you're going. It's very pleasant, no problems at all, I think, really. It's all a nice scene. Very nice little scenery, very well done, nicely modelled and very competitively priced. It's really not very expensive at all for what you get. Very impressed with it. So as you can see, the runway lighting makes all the difference. Okay, let's turn the light down to night time. Okay, just after 10 PM local time, and as you can see, night is really upon us. And it's a pleasant little view. There's actually enough light by the stars and the surrounding area. This won't look too dark at all. It looks very, very pleasant. And they're looking in the other end of the runway. This is runway 01 down here. It's really nice. And they're looking towards runway 19. On the left side of the runway, you've got this little road there. Some parallaxing has been done on some of the buildings nearby, as you can see here. And you've got this amazing, wonderful mountain range here in the distance. So a close-up look at the ramp. Here's my aircraft all parked and shut down. Everything's completely shut down on the aircraft, which is why it's not really lit. But yeah, very pleasant. There's the other end with our little Gulf Stream. And there we are looking at the terminal buildings from the other side with the car park. And it looks lovely. It looks really nice at night. I'm actually quite surprised at how much light there is. It doesn't seem to go completely dark like some places in the Far East do. Malaysia, for example, when it gets dark, it gets really black. But very pleasant. It's just it's a beautiful scene. It just looks really nice. Okay, let's bring the light up to dawn. So just after 5 AM local time, and as you can see, lights have pretty much disappeared, but you've got this wonderful red glow where the sun is rising behind us, and the buildings and the airport tend to just light up with this beautiful glow. And there we are looking at the airport from the other direction. You can see the sun rising in the east there. Looks really pleasant. It's a lovely, really lovely little airport. Okay, so 8 AM and time to give you my thoughts. Yeah, I bought this. I wasn't given it. I paid for it, and so as ever, the reviews are my own and they've not been influenced by anybody else. As I said before, Neil and I literally just flew in here from Gatwick. Just under 3 hours flight time. We had quite a tailwind, and the runway is short. It's under 5,000 feet, so yes, you can get the 320 in here, but it's tight. So be prepared for a challenge. No instrument landing system. It's all VOR or NDB, so it's a challenge for you. That said, it's a lovely little scenery, and to be honest, it's really, really nicely priced. Just over £8, including VAT. It's wonderful. Some nice little touches. Here you can get a helicopter out and have a fly around and enjoy the scenery, or get one of the many little cars or vehicles that you can get on flightsim.to and cruise the road and see what you can find. Mykonos is just 89 miles away, so it's a light aircraft ride away. Plenty to explore, I would think, as well, but this little scenery just fits in so well, and it's a good example of the skill that the Inibuilds team have done. So yeah, another little scenery, thoroughly recommended. Make sure you get the update, as I said, at the moment, as at the day of looking, it's the 5th of April today, 2023. I looked on Sim Market and they're still showing version 1. You go to Inibuilds store, and I'll put the link in the description, and you'll be able to get version 1.01, which fixes the lights problem. The runway was completely dark and unlit before this, but I gave Inibuilds a shout, and they fixed that. And yeah, great. So get the scenery off Inibuilds, and I think it's slightly cheaper than it is at SimMarket. But a beautiful little product, very, very nice, very pleasant. And if you like exploring the Greek islands, yeah, go for it. So there you go, folks. Chios Airport on the island of Chios in Greece, Lima Golf Hotel, India. Payware scenery by Inibuilds. You're looking at version 1.01 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. This version has the light correction and fixes that the first version didn't have. Available from both the Inibuilds store and SimMarket, and from what I can see, the Inibuilds store has the update version 1.01. SimMarket doesn't yet have it. Give you the price at Inibuilds. It's £8.39 UK, which equates to roughly $10.47 US, or €9.57 in euros. Those prices include VAT or tax, and they're based on the pounds, on the UK pound price. But that may vary slightly depending on which country you're in when you make the purchase. Very, very nice product. Happily recommend it. Yeah, do your homework before you fly in here. Can I just say a quick thank you to Neil for coming with me today and flying alongside me. It's been a while since we did a trip together, but we did it online on VATSIM, and yeah, it was a great flight. Really enjoyed it, and it was a challenge getting in here. We wanted to try it, and yeah, wonderful. So guys, this is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, wrapping up another review. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to stick a little credit to Neil's website as well, Virtual Flight Videos. He hasn't done a lot with it lately, but I believe he's going to still do it. He's got quite a few videos up there. So check out his site as well as mine, for some interesting little videos and some approaches that he's filmed. So thanks for joining me, folks. That's it for this week. I'm going to try and get a little adventure video. I might even take the helicopter out over here and have a look. And next week we'll be doing some more videos, and yeah, all being well, that should be fine. So guys, have a great weekend coming up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.